Hi, and welcome to another video by Jimthecarguy. Today we have a Honda, and it has a code of P1129, which is the map sensor voltage is too high. So in this video I'm going to show you how to diagnose it, test the component, replace it with a new one, and get the car back on the road. So what I did is I connected the scan tool up to it. I'm just checking the voltage, and according to what it says here, it's supposed to be 2.9 to 3.1 volts, key on, engine off. And as you can see, it is 2.91 volts, so it's actually perfect exactly where it is. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to go underneath the hood over here, and we're going to disconnect the map sensor, which is located down in the back, all the way down over here. Now it doesn't look like it's too bad to get to, except there's one problem. This screw here, you can get to it nice and easily with a very long screwdriver. You can get down there and get to it. This one over here, you can see the angle, and you can't get in to get that screw out. The problem is, if you strip that screw out, you're really going to have a big problem. You're going to wind up having to pull the front part of the throttle body off to get those bolts out. So I'm going to show you how I do it without taking the throttle body off. Saves a little bit of time. So let me grab some tools, and I'm going to show you how to do this. We'll put a vacuum gauge on it, and we're going to apply vacuum to the switch, and we're going to see if it changes the way it's supposed to. And when we release the vacuum, see if the voltage drops off as it's supposed to. So let me just grab a couple of tools, and I'll get started on it. What I do to get in here to get this out is I just use a small Phillips head screwdriver bit, and from one of our longer tools, of course, and I put it into a socket like this so I can get in there and we can loosen that screw up. So the first one up in the front here is not a big deal. You can just push really hard down on your screwdriver and you get it right out, not a problem. The one in the back is going to be not as easy because you can't get in there. So what I do is get in here with this socket, wedge it up against the firewall. Be very careful not to strip it. Have it loosened up. You can get in there with a socket. You can try to remove it. Be careful not to drop the screw. You probably want to use a magnet just to keep it from falling and getting lost. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the sensor out. While it's still attached to the electrical harness, we're going to apply vacuum onto this part of the sensor, and we're going to see if it changes the way it's supposed to. So just going to put a vacuum hose onto the map sensor. We're going to leave the electrical connector connected up onto it. We're going to take our vacuum gauge and just get a little vacuum into it. You don't want to go over 20. So once you have it set, then we're going to come back over. Okay, and we're going to release it. And it does take a little while for it to actually change once I release it. Let's try that one more time. We're going to bring it up to 20 again. We're going to release it, and it does take a while before the reading changes. So we're going to take a gamble, and we're going to try changing this, because it seems like it's actually very sluggish. That when I apply the vacuum, it comes up fairly quickly to what is supposed to be the voltage, but then when I release it from the vacuum gauge, takes a little while before it changes. So we're gonna try changing the map sensor. That should take care of the problem. We're going to clear the codes out and we're going to drive it, and then hopefully everything is well. So let me grab a new sensor. I'll order it up, and as soon as I get it, I'll show you how to put it back together. The way we're going to remove this sensor is you just push in on this tab here. When you push in on it, this pulls the tab here lifts up, and you can pull the sensor right out. So the next thing we're going to do too is we're going to remove this O-ring right here, and you get in there with anything pointy and you can remove the O-ring, and we're obviously going to be installing a new O-ring like that. And I'm going to need two hands to do this, so let me show you how that goes. Okay, remember to go with that tab, you push that tab down and you just rock the sensor and it comes right out. Now, before I put the sensor back on there, we're just going to lay this in here where it belongs. Before I plug the sensor back in, let me rephrase that. All right, now we're going to put our screws back in. We're going to put the forward screw in first because it's the easiest one to get to. Screw it in by hand. Okay, now we're going to take the back one. Same thing, we're going to screw it in by hand. It's as tight as we can go by hand. It's a tight squeeze getting in there, so let me show you what I did to get it screwed down. I just took a bit, took a quarter-inch wrench and put it on top of it. You can screw it down just so it's snug, and then I'm going to get in there with the other tool that we used the last time just to make sure it's tight as it can be. All right, now we're going to tighten this front one up with the screwdriver that you can get in there with. It's tight. And now we're just going to confirm that the one in the back is tight enough, which it is. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to plug our electrical connector back on, and you'll hear it snap in, and that's it, we're all set. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to go inside and we're going to clear the codes out of the vehicle, and we're going to drive it just to confirm that the repair is done. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.